Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talladega Superspeedway here tonight. We got a special event for you. It is going to be FEG-PC Money Racing, but more specifically, it is going to be the Friday Invitational race, which is something new that FEG-PC is starting up. Jumping right into your race info, we are at the giant, scary, infamous Talladega Superspeedway. Drivers fear it because they know there is going to be a big crash at some point sooner or later. Question is, who can avoid it? Track is 2.65 mile long. Temperature on the track right now is going to be 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Weather outside, 78 degrees Fahrenheit, 55% humidity. Partly cloudy, and winds are 2 miles an hour, so not going to affect these trucks at all. We are in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, 60 laps tonight, 65% fuel, unlimited tires, one fast repair. And as always here in FEG Money Races, it is going to be fixed setups, and you are watching on Ghost Racing Network with the Green Ghost. And his drivers are getting ready to roll. Let's get right in now to your starting grid, as we do have a sold-out field tonight, and we are excited for it. Starting first on the pole is going to be Richard Elliott for Dale Cup. Second on the outside is going to be John Mullihan. And before we continue on the grid, important to note, it was group qualifying, so this was who could run the best in a pack. Starting third is going to be Raymond Ritnar the second. Kevin Fraze fourth. Danny Barnes fifth. And rounding out row three is going to be Sean Hill from McCall Motorsports in the 77 truck. Moving back to seventh, it'll be Steve Korsek for Dale Cup. To his outside, Jeff Merck. Row 10 is going to be made up of Matthew Baker and Zachary Lima. Row 6 is Cody Reed and Jason Maines, one of the Road to Pro drivers, one of the many Road to Pro drivers in the field tonight. Moving back to 13th, it's going to be Team 3's Chad Ross. To his outside, another Team 3 driver and his teammate Stephen Page. 15th, Brian Kaiser. 16th, Cody Nagels. Donald Ray starts 17th with Dean Grob to his outside. 19th is going to be Brandon Chaburko, I believe it is. 20th, Christopher McCall. 21st, Ken McCall Jr. 22nd, David Sheets. 23rd, Eddie Hawks. 24th, Ambrose Kniebel. Daniel Eberhardt and Dylan Jones, two teammates, make up row 13 and 25th and 26th. And it's Art Greco, 27th. And the 6th of William Scott in 28th. The last two trucks in the field tonight will be Mark Von Dell in 29th and Danny Eshelman starting in 30th. The caboose of the field tonight, but he is going to have plenty of time to make his way up. This is going to be a long race. It's going to be exciting. It looks like we got a decent crowd here trying to form early. BB and Duck Duck both in the chat. Says, hello, Austin. How's it going? I did see someone that was sitting in the chat earlier. Let's get this down for you first and get trackside before we get to anything else. And let's make sure we give Richard Elliott his fair credentials for getting the pole starting in the 02. Good looking Budweiser paint scheme there. And how about John Mullihan? Going to be starting on his outside. Team 3 has a lot of trucks in the field tonight. We haven't seen this many Team 3 drivers in one race in a little while. So look to see them have a strong night. And we also saw a couple of these guys in the money race that was just before this over in Wotel. But John Mullihan will be getting a good push from one of the best at it. It'll be Kevin Fraze. How long will it take them to go to the front? Some of these guys further back, what's the strategy? Do you try to get up front early or do you sit back? We're going to find out here. And I did say, I saw someone earlier in the chat. Looks like Legion Gaming might be tuning in as well. Good to see you out here, BB, Duck Duck. Hope everything's going well for you. No competition cautions tonight. This is going to be a race, but that 65% fuel is going to throw in some pit stops, which always shake up the strategy. Let's see who's going to win the big money. We'll talk more about the payouts tonight because I'm not kidding when I say they are big, as we did have that full 30-truck field. Jeff putting on a good event. And here we go. Drivers rolling into that Geico restart zone for the first time, waiting to see the green flag fly.
Green, green, green.
We are racing here at Talladega. Pretty good start from both lanes. Further back, everybody going to dice around for position a little bit. Remember, here in FEG, there's no 3 wide for the first couple laps, unless that rule has changed, but I don't believe it has. Just as I say that, we see a quick 3 wide split there from the 65 at Kevin Fraze, as he is going to fall back a couple positions. That puts Alex Hill, Sean Hill is what you'll see his name as, on the back bumper of John Mullihan. Richard Elliott continues to lead as they rocket down the Talladega backstretch for the first time. Raymond Rittenau the second, one of the good solo qualifiers, but with it being group qualifying, you had to wonder how his qualifying effort would look, but here he is up here pushing the current leader, Richard Elliott, but I don't know how long Richard's going to be able to hold on to that because he's got a charging John Mullihan, who's going to get a nose out in front out of turn 4 for the first time into the tribal, and John Mullihan wasting no time. He's going to jump right down to the bottom lane. That'll open it up to Sean Hill up top. And John Mullihan is going to lead the first lap here tonight. As you see, it is morning time here, and we can actually show you that if we pull up the weather real quick. Look on the side of your screen right there. You'll see it. It is 6:35 in the morning, so it is just starting to get light out here, and it'll get brighter as the day goes on. Partly cloudy skies making for a gorgeous atmosphere at Talladega, and the racing, I think, looks even better, the atmosphere right now. But look at this. We are seeing a little bit of a different trend than what we're used to seeing in these money races. Just about everybody, at least everybody that's not in one of those first 6 rows, has dropped in line and are running single file. But it looks like the 12, Brandon Chaburko, he does not want to get in line. He is that last truck currently on the outside in front of him. Looks like he does have the 16 of Donald Ray. Cody Nagel's also in that line. So is Zachary Lima, who is pushing his teammate Steve Korsek. Boy, it didn't take Steve long to get up here. One of the guys that we usually see sitting on the pole, and here he is already trying to get the lead at Talladega. Let's go look a little bit further back in the field at some of these guys that are playing that strategy that we usually see be played out quite a bit. These plate tracks, and that's sit back and hope you can avoid the wreck. Let's go all the way back here, as it looks like the good news is every truck that was scheduled to be in the field tonight did make it. There was nobody that somehow wasn't able to make it out. The last truck right now is going to be Danny Eshelman in the 6th tonight. He currently sits in 30th, pulling up the track map. William H. Scott just above him. Going up a couple spots, you'll find Jason Maines, Eddie Hawks, and Daniel Eberhardt. Dylan Jones also just in front of Jason Maines. I think those 3 are probably working together tonight. Ken McCall Jr. from McCall Motorsports. He's got his teammate Christopher McCall in front of him. One of the fan favorites of Ambrose Kniebel behind him. Ryan Kaiser, Stephen Page, Chad Ross. That's a trio of Team 3 teammates. You got to wonder if they're saving fuel right now. Let's ride on board here. And you hear the throttle input. It's not that significant right now. We are riding on board with Stephen Page. And it's at 65% fuel. These guys should be able to go somewhere, if I had to guess. We'll keep it conservative for that first go. I'd say somewhere between 15 and, no, a couple more than that. Maybe somewhere around 20 laps. Might be my best guess. Again, not 100% sure until we see those first pit stops, but everybody's going to be playing strategy for sure. The new iRacing update did change the way these trucks drive a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be affecting your new leader, and that's going to be Steve Korsak. Takes the lead. It puts it to his teammate Zachary Lima up top, being pushed by Cody Nagels, the 16. Still up there, that's Donald Ray, and just behind Donald, it's like, who can tell who that was? Back, but we do have a lot of new guys in here tonight. 16 of Donald Ray. Richard Elliott has fallen back a couple spots. You see him on that inside. John Mullahan, we saw him take the lead early, but he has also fallen back just a couple of positions for the moment. And the 12 of Brandon Chaburko still sits. It's the fourth truck, on that outside line. We have already completed 5 of the 60 laps, and real quick, while everybody is kind of calm compared to what we're going to see later, let's go over the payouts. First place tonight, and these are exactly as they're stated because we had that full field, is going to be going home with $400. Second, $300. Third place, $250, and that $250 will be for third through sixth place. So if you finish in the top 6 tonight, you are going home with a handsome sum of money and way more than the price of admission to get into this thing. But what made it special is you had to be invited, and you can only be invited if you race here during the week. FEG-PC Money Racing, which you can get in. Check out FEG-PC's Discord, which I'll tell you what, I don't know if we posted it in the description. Normally we're good about that, so to make up for that, here's what we're going to go ahead and do. We'll put it in the actual broadcast for everybody as we are looking at Chad Ross, one of the Team 3 drivers here. He's got his teammates lined up behind him, and that is everybody getting ready in case they want to pit. They'd like to be together if possible, and that is going to be crucial later on in this race. Let's go back to the front, though. Steve Korsak continues to lead. Him and Zachary Lima have been side by side. Sean Hill was working a little bit with these Dale Cup boys in the last race just before this. So they might have a little bit of an alliance, not a direct teammate. But they seem to be working and getting along pretty good together as Sean Hill looks very comfortable pushing on the back bumper of the 10 truck. And I am going to post the link for everybody right here. Go check it out. That is FEG's Discord if you're interested in getting in on any of the money racing action. Maybe if you just want some of the updates on events. Brandon Chaburko right now, maybe the most impressive run. Doesn't have any teammates, at least that I know about in the field tonight, but he doesn't seem to carry his up here. Getting rowdy with the rest of these boys as we have completed 8 of the 60 laps so far. Danny Eshelman still sits last. Let's look at some of the speeds, see if there's a difference right here. Back in the draft, Dean Grob in the 19. Looks like we're seeing 183, 184 coming out of turn 2. That's pretty normal. And that should pick up and get somewhere close to the 190s here down the backstretch. And you see it there creeping up, 188, 189. Can he hit 190 into turn 3? Sure enough, he does. And up front, Zachary Lima and Steve Korsak going to be running a little bit slower as they are the trucks out in front. And they are hitting that win before anybody else. That is the power of the draft, and that's why these trucks stay so close together. But I'll tell you what, Sean Hill doesn't look like he is scared to push right now. These trucks look extremely comfortable too. Usually the Xfinity cars is what we see everybody push the hardest in, but not a lot of movement right now and not a lot of aggression. Part of that is because we've seen most of the field single file. I mean, you see it here from this view. It's broken up into kind of 2 packs now, and that second pack is all single file. And it looks like it is being led by, I believe, Chad Ross. Sure enough, for Team 3, and there's his 2 teammates of Stephen Page and Brian Kaiser behind him. Kevin Frey's in that pack. And we have one truck that looks like they're trying to move up into that is Ambrose Knievel, or potentially falling back. And this has got to be something to do with fuel strategy. I'm telling you, these guys go crazy, but you see how far back they are in a single file. As long as that line is, if they want to catch back up, all they got to do is really throttle it up. Go back to the cockpit of one of these guys and see if we can listen on. I'll forward here with Ken McCall Jr. actually, who's just in front of his teammate that we're looking at there, David Sheets. Watch his RPMs, and just as I say that, looks like he's ready to go. He jumps out of line, and he's going to go with his teammate Christopher McCall, but watch the push. He's going to get down the backstretch. He'll get really close in the turn. They're going to think twice, but I think Chris is trying to get a little bit more speed before he jumps out. Kevin Frey's going to go this time, but they're going to split him. They take the 25, 3 wide. Ken has to burp it so he doesn't accidentally turn his 94 teammate. Kevin Frey's looks like they're going to settle down and get behind him and push. Those 3, maybe going to collect actually a couple more. Let's see who all goes with them. Yep, they are going to pick up David Sheets. That's another McCall Motorsports driver. It's a 4-on-3 battle right there in that second pack, but they want to go forward, and you see Chad Ross. Looks like he's not going to give it up. He is also starting to pellet up right now to see if he can catch on to the back bumper. That lead pack for Ken McCall Jr. Them can get clear up front, though. Still the 2 Dale Cup teammates, Steve Korsek and Zachary Lima. Cody Nagels pushing Lima in the outside. Hasn't got clear yet, but I think this is by design. No need for them to put Zachary Lima and potentially Cody Nagels in front. If they can have teammates on both lanes, it'll make you feel a little bit more comfortable knowing you got somebody that you can trust beside you and behind you, instead of all just lined up with you. However, once pit stop starts, that's where we see the opportunity for all these guys to really start to get separated and split up. Christopher McCall looks like he is going to go 3 wide here. Will Ken McCall Jr. go with him? I'm not sure. Maybe that was just a bobble because he's going to tuck right back in line behind Danny Barnes in the 7 truck. Danny Barnes, one of the drivers we're starting to see a little bit more and more in these money races, and you can tell he's learning a lot each race. Here he is running up inside the top 10 and 8th, just behind Donald Ray in the 16. He does have Brandon Chaburko on his inside in front of him. Donald Ray, he's also another driver that we haven't talked about, but he's having a solid night. Sitting 3rd on that outside line, 6th overall. Driver out of Rockwall, Texas. Pit stops, I think we are going to see happening here within the next, at absolute longest, 8 to 10 laps, and I think that's being maybe a little conservative on it. I think they'll have to pit early. Sorry, a little aggressive on it. I think they'll have to pit maybe a little bit earlier than that. And we'll see, because I think we're going to see some differing strategies if that group that's been sitting back can go to a certain distance before they pit. And if you were going to break this into 3 pit stops, you would assume that they'd pit on lap 15, as that would be 4 total fuel runs. 15 times 4 gives you 60. But sometimes these guys have different strategies. What it might be here, potentially, is we might be seeing some guys going for 20. If they can get to 20, then of course it would be a 2-stopper on 3 fuel runs. But Steve Korsek and Zachary Lima, they don't seem to be too concerned about fuels. They continue to lead the pack. And as always, if anybody's out there watching that has time to type it, let me know how the audio and game audio are mixing together, if you want to hear it loud or less, and how the quality of the video looks. Certainly appreciate it. The pack's starting to get a little spread out, but the first 4 rows are still side by side. Richard Elliott, he started to make a couple positions back up. He's currently down 5 from where he started. We saw him fall back to the 4th or 5th row on the inside, but he's back up to that 4th truck on the inside, just behind John Mullihan in the 28th. But Sean Hill, he likes to be up front. All these 4, actually. Cody Nagel, Zachary Lima, Sean Hill, and Steve Korsek. Like I said, they're not concerned about fuel. We actually saw this strategy in PGR's race a couple nights back. It was a mixed strategy. You had the guys that were trying to make it on less fuel pit, on one less pit stop. Then you had the guys that were worried about just going as fast as they possibly can. As you saw Kevin Frey's dart to the inside. Boy, that got a little close for a minute. Jason Maynes, Daniel Everhart still running pretty far back right now. 23rd, 24th. Eddie Hawks, Art Greco. Looks like they're starting to fall back into what would make up a 3rd pack. And you see just how spread out it is for what is one big pack right there. Normally that would look like maybe just a couple dots on your screen. But those dots are stretching all the way through the travel right now as they just crossed the start-finish line of lap 15 of 16. So we are already 1/4 the way through this race. But as we usually see in these races, it doesn't matter if you lead all 59 of the laps, because the one you want to lead most is 60. But once these guys all know they're good to go on fuel, that last run is going to be absolutely insane, because I cannot tell you the last race that I've done where there's been this much money for this many positions up on the line. And Jeff, make sure these guys know about it too. Zachary Lima, Steve Korsek, Cody Nagels, those 3 Dale Cup teammates, they actually like to split the money. And This is a real quick informative because we actually have multiple teams in the field that will do this. I believe Jason Maines and a couple of those guys do it. Team 3 used to do it. I'm not sure if they still do. But the biggest thing about splitting money is because that turns your team of 3 individual trucks into one big truck. The good thing about that is you can use those trucks throughout the field because all you got to do is have one of those trucks finish up front to get the big payout instead of worrying about fighting for it amongst each other. And we have seen Zachary Lima and Steve Korsek. They might be the most committed teammates. Cody Nagels as well that I've seen in a while. I mean, they will not even think about making a move on each other if they are pushing bumper to bumper late in the race. We do see Steve Korsek likes to control the lanes, but I think he feels really comfortable right now with Sean Hill on his bumper. Matthew Baker in the field tonight. We haven't seen him make any noise just yet. He currently sits down 4 spots from where he started. Just in front of him, another driver that has fallen 4 spots from where they started. It's going to be Jeff Merck in the 60 truck. But they're working together tonight, and are we going to see some pit stops? Ooh, look like Matthew Baker dipped out. I'm not sure if anybody further up was trying to play some games or if he was just getting a little bit of air. But this second pack, all of a sudden, they're starting to close the gap and pull up a little bit farther. I think they realized they were potentially in danger of losing the draft, and they said, hey, guys, if you don't want to go, I'll gladly do it. But Steve Korsek still leading the way. Pit stops are coming in the next 5 laps, I would have to believe. And Zachary Lima, Cody Nagels, and I believe who else is with them here if we zoom in. They're going to have to find a spot in line. Donald Ray, yeah, as well in the 16 truck. All 3 of the guys on the outside, they have to get in line if they want to pit. You cannot pit from that top lane. Too risky. Even if the inside lane is pitting and you're sure of it. And pit stops always get a little dangerous at these super speedways because you got to remember they are scrubbing off an incredible amount of speed to get down to pit road speed. But at the same time, you want to be the fastest guy in to pick up as many track positions as you can. And you certainly don't want to be the last guy out who's in danger of losing the draft. Diving down into turn 1. It's still only 3 trucks on the outside. The rest of the field is just about all lined up. I currently don't see anybody that's tucked that line. If we go to TV3 further back, looks like we got a pair of trucks. That might be Danny Eshelman. I think it is. Yep, sure enough, Danny Eshelman. Now he tucks in line, but Ambrose Kniebel, Daniel Eberhard, they're going to try to go a little bit farther to the front before they make their pit stop, and Daniel might have saved enough fuel where he can do this because he knows if he pits back there, he's going to lose a little more positions than he would like to. The 16 Donald Ray finds a spot right in front of Danny Barnes. Now that just leaves Zachary Lima and Cody Nagels on the outside. John Mullahan, the only Team 3 driver in the top 5 right now. Richard Elliott, Cody Nagels battling for position. I thought Richard would maybe let Cody in or Lima, but nothing yet. It looks like he's going to stay and make sure he puts it right on the left rear quarter panel of that 12 truck. And we are 19, just about 20 laps in, so almost a third of the way through this 60-lap race. It's going by quick. What we have seen, though, so far is a lot of green, clean racing. And we hope it stays that way. Look just how long this line gets. We'll go to the dashboard real quick. Speeds usually are a little faster when they're single file, at least theoretically, because everybody's pushing further back. You see a couple trucks. That line gets a lot longer, and you get a lot farther from the leader once everybody gets single file. If they were double file, the distance between the leader and the last truck would only be about half of what it is. No pit stops this time, but a couple of teammates. Daniel Eberhard, Dylan Jones, Jason Maines trying to go to the front. Wow, I'm a little surprised there. Daniel Eberhard pulled high, but it looked like, I'm not sure if Dylan Jones had too big of a run or what, and he didn't want to accidentally turn his teammate because he jumped high, and now they're going to fall back just for a minute. But yeah, Jason Maines, Dylan Jones trying to get a little bit closer to the front. And Daniel Eberhard would like to join them here if he can. And sure enough, there he goes, jumps right up in front of his teammate. They are going to get one more truck to dance with them. That makes a 4-truck pack that's going to try to go to the front. Tagging on with this group is that Cody Reed? Yep, sure enough, Cody Reed in the 25 truck. Not afraid to get out there and get in front of some of these veterans. Daniel Eberhard, one of the Road to Pro drivers. And if you're throwing a block on some, it wasn't really an aggressive block, but oh, here we go. We're going to keep pit stops, so let's hold that thought. And we're going to see a lot of them coming to the pits. Question is, can they all get in clean? A lot of lockups, but no contact just yet. Oh, that's a big lockup further back, and it is going to send one of them into the grass. Oh, that's the 6. Looks like they get sideways. That's William Scott. And that is not the kind of pit stop he wants to have. He's going to be in danger of losing the main draft now. The man that let him in, though, Steve Korsek and Zachary Lima, but John Mullahan, or actually, sorry, Richard Elliott has the earliest pit stop, so let's see who wins the battle out of pit road. Here comes the 6, William Scott. Looks like maybe he didn't take what the rest of these guys took, knowing he's going to have to hustle out of pit road. Looks like everybody was able to take 2 tires with the amount of fuel, and here we go. The leaders working out of turn 4. Let's see if we see anybody else go down pit road this time. That 20 laps means that those people that just pit, as we do see the rest, everybody coming down pit road now. So let me hold that thought one more time. Wow, they're getting 4, even 5 wide just a little bit. Oh, big lockups, a little bit of contact further back. And that group was a humongous group to pit. They are still 3 wide. They've got to all get into their box, though, so they're going to have to sort it out. So far, so good. No contact just yet. Once you get into the pit stall, the game actually goes to the truck, so you don't have to worry about it. But sometimes you get a little nervous if you have a guy on your inside. Jeff Merck getting back up to, or sorry, not getting back up to speed, still running at speed with his only teammate tonight, Matthew Baker. Maybe they're on a little bit of a different strategy, or they just wanted to pit later than the rest of these drivers. And we're going to see that second pack all hustling out of pit road now. There is Steve Korosek, Zachary Lehman, John Mullahan, your 3 leaders, Cody Nagels and Donald Ray not too far behind. And let's see how it's going to pan out. Everybody's still getting up to speed. And these 2, actually, did they pit that time? Sure enough, they are. Matthew Baker and Jeff Merck coming into pit road. Steve Korosek, Zachary Lehman, John Mullahan. Wow, they're getting a big gap right here. If they play it right, they might be able to pull away, which is what they would certainly love to do. But Raymond Rittenauer II is going to have something to say about it, as he had a really quick pit stop. But what it looks like right now for the majority of the field is that everybody is going to make this a 2-stop, so they should only be pitting one more time around lap 40 and 41. And, oh, it looks like we just had someone coming back down pit road. Couldn't tell exactly who that was. Let's see right here. Unless I was mistaken. It looked like we had one going slow. There it is. Sure enough, Raymond Rittenauer must have had a penalty. And Mark Matz is flagged to the guy that drove through all the pit stall. Well, iRacing, I think, does have something in the sporting code about that. However, and yes, it is annoying because some of these guys, you know, they can't see. I know what they're talking about. It's almost like it has its pros and cons. If you do that, you don't have to worry about hitting anybody. Nobody has to worry about hitting you. But the downside of it is it makes it hard to see your pit sign, and you do not want to overshoot your box on green flag stops. So it definitely gets pretty aggravating. Looks like these 3 were not quite able to get away for Brandon Chaburko, who's pulling Cody Nagels, Cody Reed as well, with Jason Maines behind him. They're all about to link up into one big pack. It looks like Mr. FEG himself is in here. Says time for a poll. Let's see the drivers win. Well, sure enough, let's get one up. But we're going to give you guys an option here tonight. A couple options, actually. Let's see who you think's going to win. Let's get one of these. And that will be your nightly poll for the night. A little hard to do sometimes as I'm trying to keep the action on track, but see you guys think about it. And you see, look at these guys snaking around there trying to break each other's draft. Cody Nagels is going to get shuffled back. Actually, that's where he ran. He thought about making a move, but he's going to drop right back behind. They were pulling the draft off William Scott. Now they drop back down low. The 25 of Cody Reed and Jason Maines, they are in the draft. That's why all of a sudden they're starting to pull away a little bit from that backpack. And you see the speed in the corner is already upper 180s. That tells you just how much of a difference that draft makes. Look at the speed here down the front stretch. I'm talking 189 entering the tribal, almost 190. Now they close up to the back bumper. They are going to let off. You don't want to get into that guy in front of you. But we see this pack did thin out, and if we go green all the way, this is what's going to happen all night. This is why we talk about pit stops and how important they always are. William H. Scott has gone a lap down, the only truck, amazingly enough, currently a lap down. But Raymond Rittenauer is in danger of going a lap down next. That would make him lucky dog. Mark Vondell drafts with Ambrose Kniebel. And this is a decent little pack. Looks like Jeff Merck, Brian Kaiser, Eddie Hawks, Art Greco, Richard Elliott, and Danny Barnes, all drivers in this pack that did not execute as nice as they wanted to on their pit stop. And this is what happens because of that. And actually, pull up the track map again. One of my favorite tools to use because it just shows you the spread. They didn't necessarily do horrible on pit road because they see that next pack in front of them. The problem is they're going to have to catch that pack. And as it stands right now, the gap sits at just over 4.5 seconds and is extending, meaning that Eddie Hawks is actually losing touch with Danny Esterman right now, so they're going to have to pick it up. If we compare this to the pack in front of Stephen Page right now, let's see if they're making any progress. It sits at just over 5 seconds, and it looks like it's kind of hanging even, but Ken McCall Jr., the last truck in this pack in front of him, is starting to pull away. This is indeed that lead pack. A couple of teammates, Christopher McCall just in front of his teammate, Ken McCall Jr., McCall Motorsports is looking to have a good night. They have at least 3 of their drivers. I didn't notice where David Sheets was right there, but you see Sean Hill is up here as well. I think David Sheets may have been in the second pack. And it looks like, sure enough, he is. David Sheets in the second pack. Actually, he's going to pull out a line here. Not sure if he's fallen back. Good news is they have a couple of really strong pushers, such as Matthew Baker and Chad Ross in this line. So you think maybe eventually they'll be able to make up some time, but no dice yet. If we go up here, let's see if the gap is at 5.5 seconds now, so it still continues to extend. But Steve Korosek leading the way, second. Zachary Lima, third. John Mullahan, fourth. It's going to be Brandon Chaburko, fifth. Cody Nagels. So Dale Cup has all 3, well, at least 3 of their drivers in the top 5 tonight. Richard Elliott might be working with that as well. No, I don't think he's Dale Cup. He might be. Sometimes you get these guys mixed up. We see them everywhere. But it looks like Jeff says tonight is Team 3's night. They have a full squad. Indeed, they do. Actually, I think they have 4 or 5 trucks in the field. Everybody has a different view on what team size should be. I believe Dale Cup, overall, from what I've heard from Steve and them, their mindset is that they like the idea of a 2 to 3 person team. I think 3 to 4 is the magic number in my book. You got to have at least 3 if you're the only ones together. And I think if you get that 4th one, you have somebody that if they're not having a good night, you still have 3 trucks. But you see on your track map there, 3 big packs right now. The lead pack about halfway down the backstretch. The second pack just out of 2. And now we're going to see the third pack also just working their way out of 2. This next pit stop, though, which should be scheduled for about 12 to 13 laps from now, is probably going to eliminate a couple more of these drivers. And it is a top 6 payout. So as it stands, not all these guys will go home with money. Ken McCall Jr. is in 13th. William H. Scott is the lap truck. So with 13 trucks in the lead pack up here, you're going to have a handful plus a few more that would not be getting paid right now. But like I said, I think we're going to drop a couple more of these trucks after the next pit stop. Call it thinning of the herd. It happens in all these green flag racing. That's the beauty of it. Some guys don't like it. That's what you go out here and you practice for in hopes for one of these sort of events, races where it does go green all the way. And I'll tell you what, while we're sitting here riding around, we're going to go to break real quick. And when we come back, we're going to get an interview with one of your current leaders, Steve Korosek or Zachary Lima. Stick with us as we go Ghost Racing Network side by side. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Talladega Superspeedway, where we are going to get an in-race interview here with your current leader, Steve Korosek. Steve, you got a copy?
I got you.
Well, you're up here. You got the best view in the house. You got your teammate, Zachary Lima, behind you. First off, I want to ask you, is the fuel strategy looking like you guys are only going to have to go in one more time?
Yeah, it's looking good for us. Everyone's just riding, trying to save fuel. So we just got to be there at the end. Hopefully try and stay up here.
With everybody saving fuel, we know you guys like to go fast. Is the goal here just to keep pushing, maybe try to pull away from anybody saving fuel? It looks like we've already seen some trucks eliminated from the pack. Do you think maybe you can eliminate a couple more on the next pit stop?
But that's what we're going for. So we'll wish us luck. We'll see what happens.
All right, well, good luck. Hopefully you can keep the 10 truck up in front for the rest of the night, and we'll see you in victory lane, hopefully.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. And we will let them get back to it as we hop back over to the broadcast booth here. I'll tell you what, one of my favorite things about the in-race interviews is you can hear just how calm the man that's leading is, Steve Korsak. Most guys wouldn't have that calmness about him out here leading in such a high-stakes, high-paying race. Steve Korsak for Dale Cup seems to be unfazed. You did hear him there. He's made it sound like some of these guys might be saving a little bit of fuel. And that does look to be the case because they're getting split up. Single file like this, there's no reason to be getting split up unless you are saving that fuel. And Jason Maines, Christopher McCall, and Ken McCall Jr., kind of a second mini pack, still well in the draft. The 12 up there leading that actual first-second pack, and that's going to be Brandon Chaburko, followed by Cody Nagels. Also, Cody Reed is having a very strong night so far in the 25 truck. Just looks like he's been out here, done this plenty of times. Driver in Middletown, Ohio. Looks like the one-time ISRC Truck Series winner at Watkins Glen for Season 4. That's a quick stat for you. Steve Korsak, though, pit stops should be about 7 or 8 laps away, so we're starting to slowly close in on it. And as you saw during the advertisement that we played there, next place the Ghost Racing Network will head to. Remind you a couple times, but the first time we're going to remind you is right now. Tomorrow, go back over to the Dash for the Cash Series presented by Jimmy Crow Money Racing. I didn't actually notice the start time on it, but we'll make sure we have a link and stuff out for you tomorrow. Don't miss out. In reference to everybody that's in the broadcast right now, we thank you for coming out. I hope everybody is enjoying this new event that FEG is putting up. It's made things exciting. We haven't seen a ton of the 2 and 3 wide racing. We saw 2 wide a bit earlier with these front runners. We saw our pit stops. A lot of guys got eliminated from it. Currently 28 trucks on the lead lap. Raymond Rittenard the second, and William Scott currently the only 2 that aren't. But Steve Korsak, Zachary Deem, and John Mullahan have all looked really dominant so far here tonight. Let's go through your top 6 running order, actually top 10. Steve Korsak running first with his teammate Zachary Lima in second. John Mullahan has also had a great night so far in third with Brandon Chaburko in the 12 truck. In fourth, fifth is going to be Cody Nagels. And rounding out the last money spot currently would be Cody Reed in the 25 truck. Seventh is going to be Jason Maines. Eighth, Christopher McCall with his teammate Ken McCall Jr. behind him in ninth. And it will be Daniel Eberhardt rounding out the top 10. And he has Sean Hill, Dylan Jones, Kevin Fraze. All drivers that are still in that lead pack. Danny Escherman is leading this second pack. He's got Matthew Baker pushing, Chad Ross third, Donald Ray fourth in that pack. And I guess I should have told you the actual positions. Matthew Baker is 15th, Chad Ross 16th, Donald Ray 17th. Danny Escherman, the leader, is 14th. Let's see if they've closed up the gap at all. Unfortunate news is they haven't, as it is now at 7 seconds. So that group up front just continues to run faster, even though they're single file and they have some guys saving. There's still time with a couple pit stops, but I'm telling you, something about these super speedways, once you get behind early, it just is so hard to make the time back up. The draft is the great equalizer until you get multiple drafts, and then it just becomes a battle of who is the better pusher. And right now, these front 3 are not letting off of each other. The tighter they stay, the more they're going to force the rest of that pack to burn more fuel trying to stick with them. 25 laps to go here at Talladega, so we are over halfway through this 60-lap affair. Steve Korsak, Zachary Lima are looking for a little bit of a rebound. They had a tough break late in the race. Before this, the Wotel race, one of the drivers in there, Austin Green, actually made a bad move late on. Get these guys out of it when there was a big last lap wreck. The 28 of John Mullahan, though, right now he's got to be saying to himself, where in the heck is the rest of my teammates? Can't find him right now, but the driver out of Cross Lanes, West Virginia, is just going to have to try to pit with the 2 Dale Cup drivers in front of him. I think everybody in this pack, actually, we might see another split decision. I think half this pack will pit a lap before the rest of it. But Steve Korsak has continued to burn the most fuel, and he needs to make sure that he can make it at least another 4 laps right now. That would get him to 20. He would only have to pit one more time. We have not seen any cautions so far here tonight. Kept very clean. We did see William Scott go into the grass during pit stops. Didn't collect anybody. Didn't even actually spin out. Just got into the grass. Got it right back going on the pit road. Did cost himself a lap, though, because of it. Ambrose Knievel, the last truck on the lead lap right now. 28 down, 4 spots from where he started. Just in front of him is McCall Motorsports' Mark Vondell. Eddie Hawks, Danny Barnes, Brian Kaiser, Richard Elliott, Art Greco, and Jeff Merck, all the trucks in this pack. David Sheets, the last truck in that second pack. He's got Stephen Page, one of the Team 3 drivers, just in front of him. And I don't know if you remember, if you got a pretty good picture in your head earlier of what the track map looked like, but you see it now. It's still those 3 packs that we saw, but they are spread out a lot more now. We saw it close earlier, but as each lap goes by, the gaps in between all 3 gets bigger and bigger. The gap between the leader and that last truck in the field also continues to get bigger and bigger. 23 laps to go here. Everybody still staying patient, staying in line. And it seems like the longer we see him calm now, the more aggressive we'll see him be at the end. They can go 3 wide here at Talladega, even 4 wide if they so choose. Not sure if that's something we'll see. What we will see, though, is pit stops here in the next 2 to 3 laps. And last time we saw a split decision, and the way that split decision would work, we'll zoom the camera angle out here for you. We're looking back in this pack. Right now it would be Jason Maines, who currently sits in that 7th position, would be that first truck leading the second pack. Everybody in front of him, you would assume at least, would be going down on the first pit stop. I'd like to see if that changes up at all, but nobody is going to make a move right now. You don't want to get on that top lane. No, you're going to have to be on the bottom for pit stops. And as another reminder, FEG does have a money race tomorrow night. Make sure you don't miss out on that one. That one will not be broadcasted, I don't believe. Or if it is, it will probably be on OSRN Network. Go check them out. If you want to get involved, we dropped the Discord link earlier. Make sure you go check it out. We did put up a poll earlier. Let's see what the results are looking like. Will Team 3 driver win tonight? Wow, looks like 80% of you said absolutely not, no way. 20% said yes. Well, we'll have to find out. John Mullihan looks like he's got the best shot at it right now, as he is the only Team 3 driver up in this lead pack with a chance at it. There still remains to be 13 trucks in this lead draft. Kevin Fraze being the last of them, with only 6 going home with money. If it stays like this after this next pit stop, then we will start to see the racing action pick up. But when is when you got to ask, because in this run we saw some guys saving fuel, but you got to think in your head, of course, and Lima were able to make it 20 and 20 on this first one. What reason would they have to go back and save for this final one? This will be the money stop, though. We're waiting to see. Here we go. They peel off. Pit stops are underway at Talladega. Everybody's got to get in clean because it's the money stop. They're going to get in extra aggressive. Trucks are a lot easier to slow up. Steve Korsak locks him up just a little bit, but he is going to get in clean. Only a 5-truck group comes into pit here. John Mullihan, Cody Nagels. Looks like that is Brandon in the 12 truck as well. Zachary Lima is in. So these guys all executed. I think they'll all be able to get out together, and that puts the new leader to Cody Reed. He's got Raymond Ritnar the second behind him, but that is a lap truck. Jason Maines is the next position truck in line. He's got Christopher McCall and Ken McCall Jr. behind him. We'll see if they pit this time or if they decide to run one more, and how it is going to put them out on track. Christopher McCall, of course, the famous "you're a bad teammate" quote. And those are some funny guys. A lot of these Discords are pretty funny if you ever actually get in it in the middle of a race. The race chat isn't quite as professional as you might think. And they are going to stay out another lap here. Let's go back and see how that 5-truck group got out. Looks like Steve Korsak is leading him out. John Mullihan second. Zachary Lima has moved back to third. It is going to be Brandon Chaburko 24th. And Cody Nagels 25th. And when I say those spots first, second, back here, I don't mean to confuse anybody by it, but what I mean is for that pack, because once everything cycles out, you kind of assume this will be a lead. Oh, Ambrose Knievel looks like he had an issue. We'll go check on it in a minute, but let's keep it up front here. Actually, Ambrose Knievel may... Oh, yeah, wow. Oh, that's big damage on the 04. He may be towing that thing. That might be it for his night. Not sure what happened. We'll look at it after pit stop cycle out. We don't want to miss anything. But no caution flew. As you saw, it was very well off track. So we stay green, and we are going to see the rest of the pit stops right here. This group's got to get in and get out just as quick as that first group got in and out. And it looks like a couple lockups, but they all stay clean again. A little bit more disorganization further back. You see that group is going to pit as well right here. Can they all stay clean? The last thing that lead 13 trucks would like to see right now is a caution, because the less trucks you have to battle, the better. But let's see who wins the race out of pit road right here and just how close that second pack is going to be. In fact, let's pull the track map back up. And you see they are working their way out of turn 4 right here. This group is going to take full fuel and some tires. And they got out pretty quick. That's a little bit quicker than I thought. The Dale Cup boys are working their way into the travel right now. There they are. And let's see how this is all going to play out. Sean Hill is leading the battle off of pit road. And he is going to have Daniel Eberhardt, Dylan Jones behind him before he's going to find his teammate Ken McCall Jr. Let's see how everybody's going to cycle out. It looks like they weren't quite as all together on this pit stop. That has to do with certain guys saving more fuel, being further back than others. And there's Steve Korosek, John Mullahan, and Zachary Lima rocking on the outside. Boy, they are pushing hard right now, trying to get up before that group has a chance to get up to speed. Let's see what kind of speeds they're running. Wow, 190 for 3 trucks. That is bad fast, and they are going to go right around Sean Hill. How many can they get clear, though, before that 77 is going to start battling back? Steve Korosek gets clear. Looks like he's going to be able to bring John Mullahan. John Mullahan's going to try to slam the door. That's going to make them leave. Brandon Chaburko out by himself on the outside in the 12. Actually, I think I mistaken the 12 for Zachary Lima earlier. Not sure what happened to Lima here, but he's back in 11 with his teammate Cody Nagels. And right now, you see it. It is just a mess. We got trucks everywhere on the terms of in the track, so we'll see if everybody can kind of organize back a little bit. Before we talk about the front pack, let's close the track map out and go back and see what happened to Ambrose Kniebel here. Oh, he's already in the wall. And I'm not sure if this was by himself or if he is going to get some help. Oh, this is coming out of pit road. And looks like, ooh. Oh my good, holy moly. What in the world just happened to the 04? That was not what I thought happened, but I guess that would make sense where all the damage came from. Holy moly. So you see right here, he actually spun himself coming off of pit road right now. That's what's going to happen here. He's going to spin it on old tires, gets it a little bit, spins it out, locks down the brakes, and he gets into the outside wall, and then coming back down the track, gets clobbered. Oh my goodness, we had a truck absolutely launch. I don't even know who that was. Was that Matthew Baker, maybe? Sure enough, it was. This is bizarre. Watch this. Matthew Baker goes to space. And I know he's not happy right now. Believe me, I don't blame him because he was not one to see an Ambrose Kniebel there. But overall, this was absolutely bizarre. Watch this. Oh my goodness. Matthew Baker has got to get some sort of reprise there for the amount of airtime he just got. And then Ambrose Kniebel started flipping. Wow. That was a wild one. And I kind of want to take one more look at this real quick, just because we have got to ride on board with Matthew Baker. That was absolutely one of the most incredible rides that we have seen. And you see here, just he can't see. Danny Epsman isn't going to swerve out for the last second. Oh, and I'm not sure Matthew Baker knew what to think. But that is going to retire the 04 truck, at least for now, and same with Matthew Baker. Looks like Ambrose is back on the track, used the fast spare. Matthew Baker is still on pit road. He may have just decided to park it for the night. Up front, it is still going to be Steve Korosek, John Mullahan second, but now it's Sean Hill third, Daniel Eberhardt fourth, Dylan Jones fifth, and Cody Reed in sixth. This is all that first pack. The second pack is farther back. That is 3 fast trucks, unless they're saving fuel. The problem is here, they're 6 seconds back, and I'm actually not sure how they lost so much time here all of a sudden. My best guess is maybe they're thinking that front group. Again, I may not know something here. From what it looked like, I would think that front group's good to go on fuel, but if they're saving back here, we can watch the gap too to figure that out. Otherwise, maybe just a bad pit stop. It looked like though they came out closer than that. The gap right now is just over 5.5 seconds. It is closing, which means Jason Maines is catching up to the back of Cody Reed. But right now, Cody Reed and everyone else in this pack that's on the lead lap, and we may have a lapper in this pack. I think we do. Can't tell who it is. And not exactly sure who the lapper is. Got Steve Korosek, Sean Hill, Daniel Eberhardt. But it is all the top. Oh, Danny Barnes. That's who it is. So the last truck in that pack, which is Danny Barnes, is the lap down truck. And you see he is sitting at just 1 lap down for now. But it's the top 6, so they would all be getting really big payouts. So right now, I think the best option is to work together, at least until they're at the point where they know that this 3-truck trio right here isn't going to catch, but they continue to close the gap. Now down to 5.2 seconds. It's closing very slow, though. And the reason that worries me is because I don't know if they're going to have enough time to get all the way back to the front. They're probably hoping for a caution. You see they're running pretty fast. Let's go on board here with Kevin Fraze, one of the best pushers in the business. And watch, he is not shying away from contact right now on the bumper of Jason Maines, as he knows that's what it's going to take to get all the way back to the front. Gap now is down to 5 seconds. You see just how close. They can see that front pack in their windshield too, and that's the most tempting thing. Makes you want to push that much harder. Jason Maines going to try to hold as steady of a wheel possible. But at what point are we going to see guys decide it is go time and start jumping out of line to get racy for it? Because while everybody is getting paid for finishing where they are right now in this lead pack, you're not going to be getting that top prize, which is something that I think everybody would like to go for. Best way to go for that is going to be to try to fight for the lead. Steve Korsak holding the lead, though. And Zachary Lima and Cody Nagels, look at them real quick. Is it? You can find them here. They have fallen back to 19th and 20th, so they are no longer in contention. Bearing no caution, which is what they are probably hoping for right now. And Cody Nagels and Zachary Lima, another couple of fast drivers, maybe just had a bad break at that pit stop. Same for the 45 of Eddie Hawks. Mark Vondell is up 7 spots from where he started in 22nd. And looking at the track map, they are all over the place. If we were to get a caution, that would be huge because it's going to group everybody up. And with as much money as on the line is tonight, these guys would get crazy for it. But the fact that we have gone green this far with the amount of money that's on the line is a testament to everybody that is up here on just how great the racing's been. Ken McCall Jr. must have had a penalty or something because he is now going a lap down right there in the 03 truck. So not sure what happened to Ken, but he will be able to tag onto the back of this pack. But he will have to battle Danny Barnes for the lucky dog. That's going to put us down to 23 trucks on the lead lap. Remember, we had 30 start. We have had one retire. That's going to be Matthew Baker and Ambrose Knievel. We saw him on pit road, went multiple laps down, currently 3 down. Everyone else that is not on the lead lap is only 1 lap down. And if John Mullihan makes a move, does Alex Hill go with him, or does he maybe try to help Steve Korsak out? These are some of the questions that we are waiting to see answered. And Matthew Baker did message us. He said, "Did you get my wreck on broadcast?" We did, Baker. And that was one of the craziest ones I've ever seen. I could not even imagine what was probably going through your head when all of a sudden you saw the 04 truck, then you saw the sky, and then you were on pit road. One of the craziest things we've seen in a while. Here we go, though, with 10 laps to go before we miss it. We're going to do a pretty quick segment of Crank It Up here in the FEG Invitational at Talladega. And that is going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. 8 laps to go here at Talladega. And if you're just tuning in, get comfortable. It's about to get exciting. Baker's mom says, "Hey, Duck Duck." And I'll tell you what, give you a quick update. I don't know if you were in here earlier or not. Baker had one of the wildest crashes we've ever seen. So unfortunately, he is retired from the race. But he went way beyond iRacing's limit. Got probably 100+ feet in the air. I mean, it was absolutely absurd. But here we go. We're going to see our first battle for the win here, and it's going to be Steve Korsak versus Daniel Eberhard. Daniel Eberhard has his teammate Dylan Jones on the outside. On the bottom, John Mullihan continues to push Korsak. But Eberhard and Dylan Jones probably have a little bit better chemistry, but John Mullihan is not going to be scared to push. He knows what's on the line. And it'll be 7 laps to go. This front pack getting a little racy might be just what Jason Maines and them want to see. They've closed the gap up to 4 seconds, but it's closing quite a bit faster now. With this being the case, I still don't know if they're going to have enough time. They might need a little bit more. But up front, all of a sudden, everybody's ganged up on the bottom. No, Steve Korsak and John Mullihan, they have no help. They're going to go backwards right now. Danny Barnes trying to get there. But by the time he does, Daniel Eberhard will most likely have got clear. Now we're going to see They are going to link up. John Mullihan knows he probably won't be able to let off here if he wants to keep Steve Korsak out in front, but how long can he push? That truck is going to get hot. He can't overheat the engine. He's got to make it last for another 6 laps when we hit the line this time. And this is some of the hardest part about it. Let's turn this down. I apologize. I left the volume a little loud there for a moment. But Steve Korsak, Daniel Eberhard side by side in the trial of that run on the outside hasn't really been shown yet. But I'm telling you, Dylan Jones is not pushing as hard as he can just yet. They might be saving it. If they stay out here, they can potentially control anybody from getting a chance at beating them to it or going 3 wide. Because I don't think there's enough trucks to make a third lane really work. But Ken McCall Jr. and his teammate, or he has his teammate rather, Alex Hill just in front of him. And if Sean decides to make a move, you know Ken is going to go with him being a lap down, going to try to help his teammate out. And that would really hurt the momentum of Daniel Eberhard and Dylan Jones. The question is, at what point do they do that? Take a look on your scoring tower there on the left, and you see it. Look at 6th position and 7th. You see the gap right there. It's really starting to close up now, almost down to 3 seconds. And if they can continue to make this pace, I'm telling you, there is a chance at it. Looking on board, you'll see it. They can actually see them. This is from the nose view. And we'll actually go to the cockpit view so you can really see it here. I mean, I don't know what could get you more motivated than that right there. That is going to tempt you more than anything. You can see the leaders right there. You can see the chance at a money position right there, because right now Sean Hill rounds out the last money spot. Jason Main's just out of it. But all he needs to do is get in the draft, and that means he's going to have to make up just about another 1.5 seconds, and he'll be there. And all of a sudden, I think he's going to be able to do that. With 5 laps to go, we'll continue to watch. But up front, they still remain side by side. Dylan Jones, this is just all practice for the last lap for all of these guys. They're going to push a little bit more and more aggressive. And then once we take the white flag, all bets are off. If you wreck, you wreck. You got to push. They do have the saying, don't let off on the last lap for a reason. I don't think that plays exactly. Some of these guys are not going to try to wreck each other, but we will see push turn to shove. We might see what was not pushing in the corner all of a sudden hard pushing in the corners. The 25 of Cody Reed. Who does he work with here? Doesn't really have anybody, so he's kind of stuck on the bottom right now. Danny Barnes, though, being one of those lap trucks, maybe Danny goes with him if he chooses. And Daniel Eberhard, if he gets clear, what does he decide to do? Steve Korsak stranded of his Dale Cup teammates Zachary Lima and Cody Nagels. So now all he can do is hope that John Mullihan will stick behind him and push him to the win here. Let's ride on board one more time, and we'll do it this time with Dylan Jones, who's pushed on that outside line. His teammate get to Dylan here. And you see he is getting really close, maybe making slight contact in the corners as they are going to go 3 wide around the lapper of Ambrose Kniebel. You see it might get a little tight for a minute. They're going to get around the 04 though without any issue. And Steve Korsak though continues to keep the best view in the house. Can he hold on to it for 3 more laps? Jason Maines, they are still making a ton of headway. They are now have it down to 1.8 seconds, but they're going to catch the draft off Ambrose Kniebel. This second pack will get there, most likely with 1 lap to go, maybe a little sooner. And they are going to make a huge run up to that 3rd lane. I'm telling you, I think Jason Maines might be in prime position to win this thing on the last lap, especially with Kevin Freese pushing. They're using Ambrose Kniebel as a pick, but they will go right around him on the outside. They're in the draft. They're actually going to get here with probably 2 to go. That's what hard work can do. Danny Barnes falling back. That'll continue to help the cause of Jason Maines and Kevin Freese. Here we go. Do they go to the top lane? Do they stay on the bottom? And I think we're going to see 3 wide in no time, but that bottom has went back down to 2 trucks. I'm really impressed with the job John Mullihan's doing pushing here. This will be the last chance for caution with 2 to go. A little bit of a stack up. Jason Maines, I think he wanted to use that run. It didn't work out, and now we're going to see Sean Hill, Ken McCall Jr. go to the top. Cody Reed follows, and that makes it 3 by 3. Steve Korsak leading the bottom. Daniel Eberhard in the middle. It's Sean Hill up top with his teammate. The bottom still holding 2 trucks. I really think if they stay like that for too long, John Mullihan's either going to blow it up trying, or both of those top lanes are going to go by. Here we go. They got the run. Daniel Eberhard gets clear of the bottom. Can Alex Hill get clear of the 90? And it looks like he can't quite do it, but the 90 and the 11 are clear of the low lane, so if they decide to take it. But Steve Korsak is starting to get back up here. They really need some help from a 3rd truck right now. Oh, no, yellow flag is out. Our last chance at it, and the yellow flag flies. I'm not sure for what. Got to think it was something in one of these other packs. Ooh, yeah, we got one smoking. Ooh, that's Jeff Merck. He's got some heavy damage. So he must have been involved in an incident here. I'm not sure, with someone, you got to think. And let me tell you, this is not what the guys up front wanted to see. They know just how crazy things are about to get now. This is going to get really exciting for us watching here on the broadcast. Let's go back and take a look at what brought out the yellow. And they're already wrecking here. This is that backpack. I'll tell you what, here's the thing. This backpack, they know their best chances of caution. So what they're trying to do here is they're just trying to get really racy. They're not trying to wreck, but they're trying to get really racy in case something happens. And let's see here. This is in the tri-oval. Oh, the 45, Eddie Hawks. Looks like he was pushing Jeff Merck in the tri-oval. And then that secondary wiggle was pretty odd looking. Not sure if it was a net code or if behind on the steering, but you see with that, Zachary Lima gets up into the wall. So does Jeff Merck. And I didn't see how Lima fared out of all this. Ooh, he does come back down. It's looking like, or it looks like the 16 of Donald Ray is going to also get involved. After Lima got up in the wall here, lost control of the truck. Yep, 16, Donald Ray is going to T-bone him. It looks like Mark Vondell's locking it up, able to avoid it. But I want to take a look at this from Jeff Merck's cockpit view. See if this gives us any more insight. The initial contact looked like Eddie Hawks giving him a little bit of a bad shot. You really can't push in the tri-oval. But then the second thing was kind of odd looking. Let's see if we can get a better idea right here. Backs up a little more. Here we go. That was really odd. I could not tell. Ew. Play this really slow here. See, not too sure about that one. Trying to see if we can get a better angle of it. I mean, this is probably why right here. So here's what we'll do, because I want to make this. Let's go back to the cockpit view real quick, and we're going to match up the timing here of his wheel to when we had the contact right here is that significant turning left motion. And now we'll go to a different view. Let's go back to the chopper view. And you can see he doesn't have anyone on his bumper right here. So this initial push, we'll play this one more time. We're going to back it up a little bit more here, actually. I want you to watch this initial push that Eddie Hawks is going to give. That's what sends the 60 a little bit sideways, but it looks like he gathers it up right here. So right here, he's fine. He gets it straight, but then truck goes back to the left again. So not sure exactly what happened, but yeah, Richard Elliott gets involved. Jeff Merck hard into the outside wall. Zachary Lima is not going to be able to avoid it either. He tank slaps it on the right side. Then he is also going to get down into the 6. And what I want to do is show just a couple more quick angles of it before we go back live. Here's a look from TV1. Before is actually as it started. And yeah, just caution here late. That's all I got to really say about it there. We took a look at it. Not sure what happened. Jeff maybe will be able to give us some more insight or something after the race. Always hard to tell because, you know, you're not in the driver's mind. One of the things that makes the broadcasting so hard, in my opinion, is you don't really know what was actually going on. You can tell from camera angles what you think is happening, but a lot of times it ends up not even being the case, and there's your final view of it. I'll tell you what, we may have had something happen up front here with Sean Hill. This is under caution. Let's see if something happens to him here. Oh, no. Yikes. Him and John Mullihan. Not sure if that was catching the pace truck or what. I believe that's what it was. I think they were catching the pace truck right here. John Mullihan here is going to go low and then gets on the apron here, but when he comes back up, gets into the 77. Boy, tell you what though, Sean Hill does an excellent job of keeping it out of that outside wall, spins around. It's going to give him a little damage on the left rear, but let's watch this now from John Mullihan's cockpit. See what he was seeing here. Oh. And I'm not sure, I'm not sure if he was just trying to save it from the apron there. Gotta assume that's what it was. Let's go back live as we had probably went through a significant amount of time. I mean, you see it, pace car lights are off. That's how long we took looking at the replays right there. So it does change up your top 5 because all of a sudden, Cody Nagels is now the lead truck. Second is going to be Steve Korsek, his teammate. Daniel Eberhardt, third. Fourth is going to be Sean Hill. And rounding out the top 5 is Dylan Jones. Looks like Jeremy Osborne says that looked a little bit of a purpose crash. And I'll tell you what, Jeremy, I'll say it on here, it did, right? But what I've been learning here over the last couple weeks is it's just not really fair for me to assume it because it's just so hard to tell. There's been so many times where I thought it's one thing, and then I have a guy tell me, well, you know, this happened, and you think, wow, you know, I didn't think it could be that way, but sure enough it is. So we're not going to accuse Jeff of anything, of course, because Jeff, one of the veterans in here, I think maybe just got loose there from that bump or something. But this restart is going to be absolutely crazy because we have 26 trucks on the lead lap. And you would believe that all of them have a chance at going home with some big, big money tonight. It all comes down to this. It seems like this is what we see happen a lot of times here at Talladega. And if you forgot about the payouts, let's remind you one more time so you don't forget. First place is going to be going home tonight. A whopping $400. Second, $300. And third through sixth, $250. And we'll see if Dale Cup can get themselves good night. Sean Hill looks like he was able to get his position back from that spin. John Mullihan's still up here as well. Daniel Eberhardt, Dylan Jones. I think they are going to try to go to the middle if they can right here. So the 6, Cody Nagels, is going to have to be careful. Kevin Fraze, Jason Maines, they might be looking to the top. Watch for Christopher McCall as well. It's going to be chaos. Here we go. Green flag is out. 2 laps to go at Talladega. Cody Nagels and Steve Korsak get a pretty good jump. You see the 90 of Daniel Eberhardt is pushing the back bumper off the 6 truck already. Jason Maines, Christopher McCall, they look like they're lining up to go 3 wide. And sure enough, Kevin Fraze jumps to the top. That's going to move the middle to 2 trucks. It's going to be the 10 of Steve Korsak and Sean Hill. Christopher McCall now going to jump back down to the middle. He strands Jason Maines and Kevin Fraze out by themselves. And it looks like Cody Nagels wisely jumps up because I'll tell you what, Daniel Eberhardt was going to give him all he can handle. That does move Daniel Eberhardt to the lead on the bottom. If we take the white flag, it will mean no more cautions. Now we're going to see a block from Daniel Eberhardt. He jumps up into the middle line to hold off the Dale Cup boys. And that puts his teammate Dylan Jones on the bottom. They are 3 wide. Cody Nagels is going to push with everything he's got right here. And I don't think there's anywhere else to go for everybody else right now. Can Cody Nagels somehow get Daniel Eberhardt clear? And if he does, I don't think Daniel's going to go anywhere right now. They are really pushing, but here we go. White flag is in the air one more time around at Talladega. Kevin Fraze up top. And here we go. We're going to see a 4th lane, actually. Here comes Sean Hill with a blinding run up top. Oh, they're wrecking. Daniel Eberhardt, he's up the track. They're all in it. I'm not sure what happened, but it's a huge wreck. Danny Barnes in the fence. That means Dylan Jones is your leader. John Mullihan second. And the race is not over just yet because we're going to have a 4-truck battle for the win. John Mullihan isn't going to make his move just yet. Does he make a move or does he stick where he finishes? Steve Korsak, David Sheets, the last 2 in the money. But into turn 3, that second lane has a huge run. Cody Reed's going to jump up top. Cody Nagels is going to go with him. Does Dylan Jones think about blocking? He doesn't yet. He's going to stay on the bottom right now, and he commits to it. And that outside has all the momentum in the world right now. Cody Reed is going to get cleared. Does he try to drop low right here? Or does he stay up top? One more run from the bottom. It might be a photo finish. Now he jumps down low. Dylan Jones, a little bit of contact. Cody Reed wins at Talladega. Are you kidding me? What a win for Cody Reed. And I don't think he thought that was how it was going to pan out, but sure enough, it did. And he gets the win. What a performance from the 25 on the last lap. Didn't give up. He's going to be thanking Cody Nagels right there for the push. But I'm not sure what happened with the initial contact. So before they get to burning it down, let's go take a look at it. And this is going to be on the white flag lap. I'll tell you what, let's go back. I want to go back a little bit farther so we can kind of sort everything out here for you. So what we'll do is go to the green here. We're going to fast forward this a little bit. And Daniel Eberhardt did a pretty nice job. Let's pause this to go to Daniel. He did a pretty darn good job initially, from what I could see at least. Let's see if we can find Daniel here. Boy, he had fallen way back after that crash from what it looks like here. We saw, I mean, that was a huge wreck, but watch this here. Daniel's going to play this just about as smart as he can, and I think the Dale Cup's not a mistake right here, but Cody Nagels kind of has 2 choices right here. And what he does here is he jumps up top because Daniel Eberhardt and Dylan Jones being teammates. With that being the case, Daniel Eberhardt is going to be pushing. Cody maybe not feeling too comfortable with it. He's going to jump up to the middle lane where he knows he's got one of his teammates. Sorry, I didn't realize Lima wasn't up there at the time. So it's actually just Steve Korsak who he feels comfortable with. That opens it up to Daniel Eberhardt on the bottom. And then here we go. We're going to see a pretty good move right here. Daniel Eberhardt takes note of that. So he's going to jump to the middle. So he opens it up to his teammate on the bottom while putting himself in control. So the Dale Cup guys don't have a chance at making another lane. And then it stays pretty clean here. Turn 1 is where things are going to get really hectic. We did see a 4th line form right here. You'll see it up top led by Sean Hill. there he goes. He's going to get followed by his teammate. I'm not sure if they just kind of wadded up right here or if there was contact. And it's going to start, I think, with the 90 of Daniel Eberhardt. And, oh, that's going to be some contact from his teammate, Dylan Jones. So that is going to be initially where the start. So you see John Mullihan kind of on the apron here. He is pushing the heck out of Dylan Jones. And I think this little bit of a push is what's, I think this little bit of a push in the corner, just sends Dylan Jones up a little bit. When they're 4 wide, there's nowhere to go. And that gets into the left front of Daniel Eberhardt, and then it's on from here. He gets up into Kevin Fraze, and it's the last lap. I mean, the whole field gets in this. Kevin Fraze up. He gets into the catch fence, spins it around. He's going to land back on the roof of Sean Hill. They are still wrecking. It's not over yet. Daniel Eberhardt goes for a pretty crazy tumble. Danny Barnes, he gets up into the catch fence as well, and they are all just holding the throttle down, trying to get through it. But this is where Cody Reed takes advantage. It's not over yet. You see him and Cody Nagels are going to tuck in line behind each other. And right here, you knew they had a chance 2-on-2, but they already had the momentum. They had the benefit of the draft. And look at the pushing right here. And I think Cody made his move at the right time. It almost looked like Dylan Jones thought about it, but maybe thought twice of it, thought maybe he'd be a little late on it, didn't want to risk it. Knew he was guaranteed money either way, so he's just going to stay down here, plays it smart. Unfortunately, though, doesn't get the run as Cody Nagels was pushing hard right here. Drops clear of the 11. Boy, he almost waited just a little bit too long. And wow, there was contact between the 11 and 6. I'm surprised they didn't wreck off of it. But that is how the finish comes down. Look just how close this was. Or sorry, it wasn't. I didn't mean to say it was that close, but I said we'll see just how close the finish was in general. And there it is. Cody Reed wins it by 6/100ths of a second is what I'm showing here. And that is what it looked like for the driver of the 25. Let's go to where he, gotta assume he did some burnouts here. Or at least we hope so. It's always no fun, in my opinion, when these guys don't do burnouts, but some of them prefer to, some of them prefer not to. Oh, and he is going to burn it down, so we'll play those as we go to your top 3 interviews here. And that's what we're going to go do right now. Stick with us. Be right back. All right, and I'm here first with your third place finisher, and that's going to be Cody Nagels. Cody, you got a copy?
Yes, I do, Austin.
Well, that last lap went from chaos to payout, and you were in the payout because it looked like you and the 25. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I want to say after the big wreck, you guys got through it. What was going through your head when you saw 2 trucks pretty far ahead? You saw the 25 right in front of you.
Well, I'm gonna back up just for a quick second. I do want to apologize to my team for not having the best. I didn't have the best pit stall tonight, so I should have been on point with my pit stops. And as a result of that, Lima was taken out of a chance of cashing. So I do apologize. I'm glad I was able to make up for it with a cash spot. As far as the last lap, the only thing I was thinking is get a friend and get a top 2 spot out of it because there was 4 of us. I was 4th. I knew if I could just get Cody Reed, convince him, go up, I would take care of him. So he goes up and I was committing with him the whole way. But then I understand him wanting to go down and try to make sure he secures the win, but I was going to stay with him either way. So I do thank Cody for trusting me and going up, and I'm glad he got the win there. But that's all I'm looking for is just trying to get a good cash spot for my team.
Well, it looks like it worked out very nicely. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank you for broadcasting. I want to thank my Dale Cup teammates, Steve and Zach, and I also was live on Twitch. And I want to thank the 2 raids I ended up having. Garrett Maines raided me with 49 people, so a lot of people were watching on Twitch. Very good following. I do appreciate everyone that was supporting me tonight, and looking forward to the next one.
That's what we like to see. Before we let you go, Cody, feel free to shout out your Twitch channel if you have it. Let everybody know to go follow.
Yeah, just look up at Cody Nagels. It's just my name. Search me on Twitch and like me and give me a follow.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is your third place finisher, Cody Nagels, in the 6 truck. And it looks like, as of right now, your top 2, Cody Reed and Dylan Jones, have not joined the booth. I think people might be getting tired of my interviews. But what we'll go ahead and do real quick is go over your finishing results and see if they're there after the fact. Finishing in first was Cody Reed. Very nice pass there in the tri-oval. Gets help from Cody Nagels and gets it done. Second, Dylan Jones. Third, Cody Nagels. Fourth, John Mullahan. Fifth, David Sheets. Boy, he snuck himself back up in the money position. And rounding out the last paid position tonight, it's going to be Steve Korsek in 6th. 7th, Art Greco. 8th is going to be Eddie Hawks. 9th, Mark Vondell. 10th, Jason Maines. Raymond Rittenauer the 2nd. 11th, William Scott Jr. 12th, Brian Kaiser 13th. Brandon Chaburko 14th. Dean Grob 15th. Chad Ross 16th. Zachary Lima 17th. Danny Esterman 18th. Richard Elliott finishes in 19th. Stephen Page 20th. 21st is going to be Daniel Eberhardt. 22nd, Kevin Fraze. 23rd, Sean Hill. 24th, Christopher McCall. 25th, Jeff Merck. 26th, Donald Ray. 27th is going to be Danny Barnes. 28th, Ken McCall Jr. 29th, Ambrose Knievel. And rounding out the last spot tonight in 30th is going to be Matthew Baker, after what we saw was a wild wreck between him and Ambrose Knievel. Flew so much that the game just pretty much put him on pit road and called it there. Duck Duck says, awesome broadcast, good race. Well, thank you, Duck Duck, and I couldn't agree more about the racing tonight. Let's check one more time to see if we got any of these guys hopefully in the booth, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like any of them joined. We do apologize for that, but I put out a message there, but wasn't able to get them in time. They may have already hopped off. Either way, we thank everybody for coming out tonight. We'll give you one final reminder before we let you go about where we head next on Ghost Racing Network. And tomorrow we are going to be back at the Dash for the Cash Series presented by Jimmy Crow Money Racing at Talladega Superspeedway in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Race starts at 7:40. Don't miss out. Thank everybody for coming out tonight. And if you liked it, feel free to leave us a comment, a like. And if you're new, of course, follow. Have a good Friday night, and we'll see you next time.